Hi there. Welcome back to Very Good Yoga with Billy. My name is Billy, and for today's class, all you're going to need is 2 blocks. Let's get started. Let's lie down on our backs. So have your knees bent and your feet on the floor when you do come to lie down. Step the feet out wide, knock the knees together so you have constructive rest in your legs. And then yogi's choice what you do with the arms. Maybe they're overhead at a Y shape. If you want something a little bit more grounding, put one hand on either side of your rib. Close your eyes. And all I want you to do here is start to find a more deliberate and more intentional breath. So usually I don't start a lot of these classes on the back like this just because when you lie down, it sends this signal to the body that we're cooling down, we're slowing down, and obviously we're about to warm up and move around in just a second. But using the floor as a tool, using the floor as a prop to slow the body and the mind down enough so you can truly begin to arrive. So you can truly begin to make that shift from your day-to-day, night-to-night, wherever you are, and onto your mat. Bringing the awareness into the breath to start to tie the body and the mind together. And then keep your knees bent and begin to pick your feet off the floor so your shins are parallel with the ground. Interlace your hands behind your head, hug the forearms around your face, and lift your shoulders off of the floor. So when we do this core work, the lower belly and the lower back are pressing down into the ground. Tap your right elbow to your left knee and straighten the right leg out in front of you with the right heel hovering just a little bit off the floor. Come back through center and then switch. Tap the right knee with the left elbow and straighten and hover the left heel in front of you. Keep the shoulders lifted. Come back through center, switch. Right elbow, left knee. Right leg is straight. And then come back through center and switch. Left elbow to the right knee, left leg is straight. And we're just going to start to move through this on our own. So I'm not going to give you like a number, and I'm not going to give you a pace for these bicycles. Really, my intention here is to get you moving. So maybe you start to feel the core engage. Maybe you start to feel your legs and your hips wake up. Maybe you stay pretty slow, or maybe you start to pick up the pace and make this a little bit more fluid, skipping center entirely. Just as long as you're not jerking your neck, it's perfect, whatever it is you're doing. For the next 5, 4, 3, 2, last one, brief bridge pose. Step your feet on the floor, lift your hips in the air, and straighten out your arms by the side. So this is just a really brief bridge pose to counter our core work. And then lower your butt back down. Collect the knees into the belly, into your chest. Take a few rocks up and down the length of your spine. And come into a neutral tabletop facing the front. So coming onto all fours, hands and knees. Before we move, make sure that your hips are over the knees and your shoulders are over the wrists. Maybe this is where you stay, but if you want to incorporate the wrist a little bit more, option to turn your hands out left and right. Or option to flip the wrist entirely so the middle finger points back towards the middle of your knee. On your next inhale, use your hips to bring you forward into cow pose so that your head and ears come up last. Use your chest, use your ears as you exhale, round the spine and lower your tailbone last, cat pose. Use your hips to initiate the movement. Inhale, drop the belly, lift the chest and the ears up last. And then using your chest and ears to initiate the movement on an out breath, begin to round the spine. Begin to round the lower back a lot and lower your head and tailbone down. So getting a few rounds of cow and cat just like that. Thinking about what part of the body you use to initiate the movement as you flow between these 2 points. And if you're doing that with the head and the tailbone like a wave, you will go a little bit slower than if you were just to go back and forth breath to movement. Finishing up whatever you're working on, come back through center. Point your fingers straight ahead, and then let's come up into a downward facing dog. Plant your palms, tuck your toes, and lift the hips up high. Of course, with this first downward facing dog, if there's anything extra you want to do here, maybe pedal up the feet. Maybe shake out the shoulders or even shake out the hips a little bit. Bring your feet a little closer together and lift the right leg up into a 3-legged dog. Flex through the right foot, turn out the toes, and on an inhale, bend the knee and open up the hip. So your outer left hip firms in a whole lot more than you think you should. Roll the inner left thigh forwards. And on your next inhale, can you lift the right knee up a little higher? Exhale, right knee taps the right elbow. Step the right foot outside of the right pinky for the briefest of lizard runner's lunge. And then take it to an early Malasana. Step the left foot outside of the left hand. And sink your hips low and lift the heart and the chest up high. I'm going to turn to face you for a second so you can see what I'm doing. So we're going to do a lot of Malasanas today. We're going to do this shape quite a bit. And what I want you to see and feel is that your heels are down on the floor. So if you're having a hard time keeping your heels down, just bring your feet out wider. If you want to modify, you could stack a couple blocks or even books and just take a seat. Lift the heart and the chest up high. Take another full breath in. Forward fold is the exhale. Straighten out your legs and then fix your feet. Bring them either together or hips width distance apart. Keep your hands on the floor when you inhale to a flat back. Look forward. Step your left foot long and back, and please come into a low lunge. Lower the back knee down, and on an inhale, sweep the arms up. Maybe look up and you can see your palms connect overhead. Bend more into the front right knee and go down with your hips and your legs. Full breath in. Assisted open twist to the right is your exhale. So put the back of the left hand outside of the right thigh and use that hand to open up the right shoulder. Reach the right arm back. Inhale, reach the right arm overhead so that the bicep is by your ear. Keep the arm lifted. Exhale, turn your chest forward. Cross the right elbow on top of the left elbow and find your eagle arms. So that same sensation of low lunge we did just a few moments ago. Go down with your legs and then up and forwards with the arms. And every time you go up a little bit more with the arms, go down a little bit more with the legs. And every time you go down more with the legs, go up more with the arms. 5, 4, 3, for 2, runner's lunge. Frame your front right foot, tuck your back toes, lift your back knee. Without doing anything funny with your butt, step to plank pose. And take 1 push-up. Lower down, chest to neck, and then come back up into plank. Lower back to the belly. Untuck your toes, and almost like you have spiders for hands, walk your hands a little left and right off the mat and onto the floor. So there's going to be some space between your palm and the ground. Inhale, come up into your back bend, however high or low as you would like. Exhale, lower the belly, lower the chest, lower the chin. Once more like that. Inhale, come up into your back bend. Exhale, lower your belly, your ribs, your chest, and your chin. Bring your hands back by your shoulders, tuck your toes. Press yourself up into a plank pose. And then meet me back in your downward facing dog. Bring your feet a little closer together and lift the left leg up into a three-legged dog. Flex with the left foot, turn out the toes, and on your inhale, bend the knee to open up your hip. So when we open up the left leg, we have a tendency to dump into the right side. So that being said, hug the right hip in, even more than you think you should. And on your next inhale, lift the left knee higher. Exhale, left knee taps left elbow. Step the left foot outside of the left pinky for a lizard lunge. Into a Malasana, yogi squat. Right foot outside of the right hand. Sink your hips low and lift the heart and the chest up. I know for me, the second Malasana of the day always feels so much better than the first one. And maybe you take that brief bit of inventory and you just notice the difference between the two. Press your palms together. Press the elbows into the inner thighs. And make sure that your knees are going over your toes. Inhale your heart up. And your exhale, forward fold. Straighten out your legs. Fix your feet either together or hips with distance apart. Inhale, flat back. Look forward. Step the right foot back and come into a Anjanae Asana, low lunge. Tap the right knee to the floor, and on your inhale, reach the arms up. So maybe look up, maybe see the palms connected to open up through the front of the throat. Bend into the front left knee and find that downward forward sensation with your legs and hips. Full breath in. Assisted open twist to the left is your out breath. Put the back of the right hand outside of the left thigh. And then press the hand into the leg to lean the left shoulder back and reach the left arm back. Inhale the left arm up, bicep by your ear. Exhale, turn your chest to face the front. Left elbow on top of the right elbow for your eagle arms. Lift your elbows up and press your palms forward to open up the upper back. Go down with your legs and hips and lift up and off of the belly. Look up, soften the eyes for 5, 4, 3, for 2, runner's lunge on 1. Frame the front left foot, tuck the back toes, lift the back knee. Without doing anything funny with your butt, step to plank pose. And maybe you take a push-up, so lower down, chest to deck. And then press up back into plank. Inhale, back to the belly as your exhale. Untuck your toes. Come up onto tented fingertips and walk your hands a little left and right off the mat and onto the floor. Inhale, find your back bend, however high or low as you would like. Slowly on the exhale, lower your belly, your ribs, your chest, and your chin. Last time we'll do this. Inhale, drape your way up into your back bend. Exhale, drape yourself back to the floor. Palms by your shoulders, tuck your toes. Press up into a plank pose, and then send it into your downward facing dog. Okay, let's get a little weird with this. Bring your feet out wide to the edges of the mat. Walk your hands to a wider forward fold at the back of the mat. Turn your heels in, your toes out, and come into a Malasana, please, the back of the mat. To get to a Malasana at the front of the mat, we're going to take some chimp walks. Reach your arms forward, plant your palms, and hop your feet outside of your pinky. you're a taller person, it might not take you many hops. But if you're a shorter person, you might have a little bit more distance to travel. Once you've gotten to your Malasana at the top of the mat, please come into a forward fold, fixing your feet either together or about hips width distance apart. Starting to build some heat. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, come up to stand, Urdhva Hastasana. Stay as tall as you are right now as you lower the arms by your sides. Turn your palms forward. Inhale the arms out and up. Lift your belly. Uttanasana, bow forward. Inhale, long spine, even your neck. And for the first one, step into your plank pose. Press your palms down, almost like the floor is pressing back at you. Reach the crown of the head forward, away from your heels, and the heels away from the crown of your head. Let's take a full breath in. Chaturanga is the out breath, lower just halfway. Inhale, find your back bend, upward facing dog. And on your out breath, please come back into your downward facing dog. Okay. Step your feet out wide. And walk your hands to a wide forward fold at the back of your mat. Turn your heels in, your toes out, sink your hips low, and come into a Malasana at the back of the mat. So option one, you just do that chimp walk to take it to a Malasana at the top of the mat. Option two, if you want to try to incorporate some Shakti hops, plant your palms, look in between your thumbs, maybe get some hang time, but eventually land in your Malasana. So just a few hops, not too many. We'll eventually take it to a forward fold at the top of the mat. If you're still working on those, take your time to catch up. But once you're back in your neutral forward fold with the feet together, hips width distance, inhale, flat back. Exhale is fold. Inhale, come up to stand, reach the arms up. And then stay as tall as you are right now as you lower the arms by the sides. Turn your palms forward, inhale, Urdhva. Lift your belly, Uttanasana, bow forward. Keep your hands on the floor, inhale, flat back, prepare for Chaturanga. Keep looking forward with your eyes in your chest as you lower halfway Chaturanga. Inhale, find your back bend, upward facing dog, thighs are lifted. And then use your belly and take it back into a downward facing dog. Step your feet out wide and walk your hands to a wider forward fold at the back of the space. Turn your heels in, your toes out, sink your hips low and come into a Malasana. Option one, you just take the chimp walk. Option two, maybe you want to play with your inversions here. If you're feeling good with your inversions, maybe option three, when you come up, can you get some seal claps with your feet? That wasn't a good demo. Let's see if I can do a better one. So you come up, get a couple claps. And then you come back into Malasana. Eventually, we'll all meet in a forward fold at the top of the mat. That last one got away from me a little bit. Fix your feet, bring them together or hips width distance apart, and inhale, flat back. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, come up to stand, reach the arms up. Stay as tall as you are right now and lower the arms by your sides. Turn the palms forward, inhale the arms out and up. Lift your belly, Uttanasana, fold. Inhale, flat back, look forward with your eyes and chest. Keep looking forward, Chaturanga, lower. Inhale your back bend, straighten arms and legs. Downward facing dog for 5 rounds of breath. Last time we'll do that, I promise. Reach your heels down, reach your calves down. And keep the gaze in between the feet as you reach the crown of the head down to the floor. Full breath in. On empty, look forward, bend into the knees, hop, spring, or step to a forward fold at the top of the mat. Inhale, flat back, feet together. Exhale, fold. Inhale, chair pose. Bend deep into your knees. Lift the heart and the chest up high. Look forwards. Bring your hands to prayer at the heart. Come up to stand. And meet me in Tadasana with the arms by the sides. So one round of sun B. Breath to movement. Inhale, chair pose. Bend deep into the knees. Belly to thighs, hands to floor. Forward fold as your exhale. Inhale, flat back. And on your out breath, chaturanga to lower. Inhale, back bend, upward facing dog. Exhale is your downward facing dog. Ground the back left heel down and step your right foot as far forward as you can to come up, warrior one. Inhale, rise. Exhale, chaturanga to lower. Inhale, find your back bend, upward facing dog. And on your out breath, downward facing dog. Ground the right heel down and step the left foot as far forward as you can. Warrior one, inhale, rise. Exhale, chaturanga to lower. Inhale, find your back bend, upward facing dog. And on your out breath, downward facing dog for 5, 4, 3, for 2. Take a full breath in on 1. On empty, look forward, bend into the knees, hop, spring, or step to a forward fold. Inhale, flat back. Exhale is fold. Inhale, chair pose. Bend deep into the knees. Lift the heart and the chest up. Look forward, hands to prayer at the heart. Come up to stand. Tadasana with the arms down by the sides. Bring the left knee into the belly. Keep the right foot on the floor. Interlace your hands right around the shin. And notice as you go up, as you stand up tall, if you've gone back. Try and keep the shoulders over your hips. And bring your left leg into tree pose. So the left foot will find the inner thigh, the calf, possibly the shins. And the arms will go up and overhead. So once again, the biceps are by the ears and the fingers reach up. So if you think about this, this is more or less Urdhva Hastasana with the left leg out to the side. Press down through all 4 corners of your right foot. And reach your ring fingers up into the ceiling. Maybe even look up with the drishti to play with balance. Bring your hands to a prayer position at your heart. Look forward. Samastitihi, step the left foot onto the ground. Second side, interlace your hands around the right shin, bringing it up into the belly. Notice as you stand up straight, if you went back at all. And if you did, just come a little bit further forward so the shoulders are over the hips. Bring your right leg into tree pose. So the right foot will go to the inner thigh, calf, or shin. And eventually your arms will go up skywards. So this is Urdhva. Sometimes when we go out with the right leg, we tend to take the left hip with it. Keep your 2 hip bones pointing straight ahead. Maybe if you want to play with the gaze, you look up in between your palms. And continue to press down through all four corners of your left foot on the mat. Bring your hands to a prayer position at the heart. And then very casually, samastitihi, step the right foot down to the floor. Inhale, chair pose, bend into your knees. Uttanasana, exhale, bow forward. Inhale, flat back. And on your exhale, chaturanga to lower halfway. Move through your vinyasa, and please meet me back in downward facing dog. Ground your left heel down and step your right foot forward, as far forward as it will go, and come into a warrior one, please. Reach the arms overhead. We're going to hold this. So just like we did in our low lunge not too long ago, go down with your legs, bend deep into the front knee. And then go up and out of the belly just as much as you went down with the legs. Inhale, straighten out the front right leg. Exhale, cactus your arms. Squeeze your shoulder blades together and find an interlace at your lower back. Without flaring out the ribs, inhale, reach the knuckles low, lift the heart and the chest up high. Bend the right knee first, and then humble your warrior with your chest to the inside of the front right leg. Wrap the outer right hip underneath you. Keep your gaze, your drishti, at your back left heel. And then notice if all the weight just went into your front right foot. See if you can use your back left leg more here. Listen carefully. We're going to come up into a high crescent lunge. As you inhale, upright your torso. Tuck the back toes, lift the back left heel. Full breath in at the top. To a prayer twist to the right. Connect the left elbow outside of the right thigh and press your palms together really well. If you're looking for something to do with the drishti, look over your right shoulder. Reach the ears away from the tailbone and your left heel away from the crown of the head. Inhale to lengthen. Runner's lunge to three-legged dog. Lift the right leg up and back. Flex through the right foot, turn out the toes, bend the knee, open up your hip. And maybe this is where you stay. I'm going to turn around so you can see what I'm doing. If you want to incorporate a bird dog here, slow float your left arm up and alongside the body and see if you can grab the foot and the shin. So the right hand is pressing down really well and your eyes are locked in on something, anything that's not moving. 5, 4, 3, for 2, put your left hand down, step your right foot outside of your right pinky, and come into a Malasana, yogi squat. So the left foot will step outside of the left pinky. And again, I'm going to turn so you can see what I'm doing. You stay exactly where you are. So you don't move until I tell you to move. It's kind of like Simon Says. Option is stay with this Malasana. Option to take a supported Malasana. But if you want a little bit more, snuggle the right shoulder inside of the right leg. Put the right hand out on the floor. And open up across the chest so the left arm will go skywards. If it's okay on your neck, your gaze is over your left shoulder. And maybe you find a half. Or even a full bind. So holding hands with yourself. Or possibly your clothing, or somewhere around the outer right hip. 5, 4, 3, for 2, forward fold on 1. Straighten out your legs and then fix your feet either together or hips width distance. Bhujapidasana crow pose. So we're going to do all in all 4 arm balances today, and this is going to be the first one. They're not all the same, by the way. Well, spoiler alert for later. Bhujapidasana crow pose. Plant your palms and bring the knees to the triceps. Look forward. Press the floor away with the hands, almost like the floor is pressing right back at you. And hug the elbows in. Find chaturanga in your arms. Look forward. Maybe you can shoot back to a chaturanga. Move through your vinyasa. And meet me back in your downward facing dog. Ground your right heel down and step your left foot forward to come up for your Vajrasana A, Warrior 1. Inhale to the top. So about 5 rounds of breath here, holding this Warrior 1. Go down with your legs and hips. Bend deep into the front left knee. And then lift out of the belly and the arms just as much as you went down with your legs. Inhale, straight out the front left leg. And on an exhale, cactus your arms, squeeze your shoulder blades together, and find an interlace at the lower back with the opposite thumb on top, so your grip should feel a little weird. Inhale, reach the knuckles low, lift only your heart and chest up. Rebend the front knee first, humble your warrior on the exhale, bow the torso inside of the front left leg. Outer left butt underneath you, outer right hip in front of you. Keep your gaze on the back right heel and light up the back right leg. Making your way into a high crescent lunge. Tuck your back toes, lift your back heel. Inhale, brings you up to stand. Prayer twist to the left is the out breath. Connect the right elbow outside of the left thigh and press your palms together well. So you're trying to create this almost vertical sensation with the floor with your forearms. If you're looking for something to do with the gaze, look over your left shoulder. And straighten your back right leg more, reaching the heel away from the crown of the head. Inhale to lengthen. Runner's lunge to 3-legged dog is the exhale. Flex with the left foot, turn out the toes, bend the knee, open up your hip. Option to stay here. But if you would like to explore that bird dog option, reach the right arm up and alongside the body and see if you can grab the outside of the left foot and or shin. Focus the drishti. Press the left hand into the floor. 5, 4, 3, 2. Put your right hand down. Step your left foot outside of your left pinky. And please come up into a Malasana at the top of the space. Bend into your knees, sink your hips low, and lift the heart and the chest up. Again, I'm going to turn around so you can see me. If this was good for you before, snuggle the left shoulder inside of the left leg and put your hand off onto the ground. Open up across your chest, reaching the middle fingers away from one another. And maybe you can look over your right shoulder. Half bind, right arm over the lower back. Full bind, left arm in front of the left shin. So I want to clarify, I didn't say this before, but if you're going for the bind or the half bind, the left arm is in front of the left shin. Sometimes I see people go under the leg, but I just want you to know it's in front of the shin. So you don't have to do anything kind of like weird to get there, you know? Last breath. forward fold is the exhale. Bakasana crow pose. Plant your palms, knees to your triceps, look forward. Press the palms down like the floor is pressing back at you. Hug your elbows in, hug your inner thighs in, look forward. Chaturanga. Vinyasa. We'll all be back in downward facing dog. 5 breaths here. And guys, if you ever need a break, you're always more than welcome to take a break when you need one. Okay. So one more piece of standing flow. And what I want you to do is step your right foot forward and come up into a crescent high lunge. Reach the arms up and overhead so the biceps are alongside the ears. Find the 90-degree bend in the front right knee. And then straighten out your leg more if you can. But that being said, like if you straighten out your back leg and it bothers your lower back, keep a bend in the back knee. Full breath in. And on your exhale, find an open twist to the right. Put the back of the left hand outside of the right thigh. And then use that hand, use that pressure to turn the chest open. Inhale the right arm up, bicep by your ear. Exhale, turn your chest to the front, right elbow over the left elbow, eagle arms. Listen carefully, inhale your eagle arms up. Keep the chest as high as you can as you come forward into eagle pose. Garudasana with the left leg over the right. So I'm trying to avoid the pitching forward that happens with that transition. You start up and you stay up. Bend into your standing leg more, just like you do in chair pose. Reach your left knee to the right, your right knee to the left. And take a few more breaths. Inhale. Keep your eagle arms and send the left leg to warrior 3 as you exhale. So the left heel is reaching back like it could leave a footprint on the wall behind you. And the eagle arms are still continuing to reach forwards. Full breath in. Revolve half moon. Put your left hand on a block. Reach the right arm out and up to find your twist across the chest. I know, one hard pose into another. Press the left hand down like a side plank to get more lift in the right arm to the ceiling. Straighten out the left leg more and carve the right hip back well. One more breath. To a forward fold on the exhale. Step the left foot down and meet the right foot. Inhale, flat back, please. Exhale, fold. Let's do one more of those. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, fold. Setting up for a bhujapidasana. What the heck is a bhujapidasana? Let me show you guys. So, if you want, I'm going to demo it, and if you want to do more, you can pause the video, but keep in mind, we are going to do this on the second side. So bhujapidasana, essentially it is a squat and an arm balance. I'll ask you to bring your feet out wide to the edges of the mat, with your heels slightly in and your toes slightly out. I'll have you plant your palms so your fingers point straight ahead. And it's almost like you're using your triceps as a seat. As you hug the elbows in, find chaturanga with the arms. Once you have this, you'll cross the right foot in front of the left foot, and then squeeze the inner thighs around the outer arms. So come on in if you haven't started already. Your objective is to try to get about maybe 5 to 8 breaths here. And then on your own, yogi's choice, make your way to downward facing dog. For me, I want to skip the push-up and I want to take a tuck-toed up dog. I think any kind of back bend would feel really nice on the front hips after that arm balance. Whew. But then eventually send your hips up high. Last side, you guys. Let's do this. Step your left foot forward and come right up into your high crescent lunge. Inhale, reaches the arms up. Bend into the front knee, go down with your legs and hips. We've been over this. So in pretty much every yoga pose you're in, you're always trying to find this sensation of going in 2 separate directions at the same time. Straighten the back leg more if you can, if it doesn't affect the lower back. Inhale to lengthen. Assisted open twist to the left. Put the back of the right hand outside of the left thigh. Reach the left arm back into space. Reach the left arm skywards on an inhale. Exhale, turn your chest to face the front. Left elbow on top of the right elbow, eagle arms. Inhale, lift your eagle arms high. Stay this lifted and come into the full expression. Garudasana. Right leg is over the left leg. Bend deep into your standing leg, just like you would do in chair pose. Your right knee goes to the left, your left knee goes to the right. And your face is soft. Keep breathing. Get 2 or 3 more rounds here. I can hear my cat in the hallway. I'm going to let him in here in just a second. Inhale. Keep your eagle arms and send the right leg. Warrior 3 is the exhale. Tilt your torso forwards. And reach your right heel back. Firm the outer left hip in more than you think you should. Inhale. Revolve your half moon on the exhale. Put your right hand on the floor, maybe a block, and reach the left arm high. For me, I like to use a block the highest height, but really you can go wherever's comfortable for you. I wouldn't say that's like a one-size-fits-all kind of thing. I will say the highest height is the most helpful of heights, in my opinion. Press the right hand down like a side plank to lift the left arm higher. Reach the crown of the head forward, your right heel back. One more, good. Inhales, lengthen. Forward fold is the exhale. Both feet on the floor. Hands come down to frame your feet. Inhale, flat back. Exhale is fold. Inhale, flat back, long spine, including your neck. Exhale, fold. So preparing for that bhujapidasana once more. Step the feet out wide. Heels are slightly in, toes are slightly out. Place your hands behind your feet so your fingers point straight ahead. And then go ahead and bend into your elbows. So it's almost like you're setting up a shelf for your thighs. So on the last side, I can't remember what I said. I think I said left foot over the right foot. No, I think I said right foot over the left foot. Do whatever you didn't do before. So you're trying to switch the crossing of the feet. Because I know for me, like one side is always so much more dominant than the other. Squeeze the outer legs around the outer arms. When you're over it, you're going to come back into a forward fold. And then yogi's choice, how you get back to downward facing dog. Again, I'd recommend you take some sort of up dog in between, maybe a tucked toes, maybe a more conventional one. Lower your knees and lie back onto your back. Whoo! I know, right? Take a moment and just appreciate that we're able to reconnect with the floor after about 45 minutes of just like consistent nonstop movement. So we're going to do 3 back bends today. And I'll start you off with a bridge pose. Walk your feet in towards the body, and then press your feet down and lift your hips up high, bridge. Snuggle the shoulders underneath you. And if it's appropriate, grab the outsides of your shins with your hands. I don't know what this variation is called. I like to call it upward facing bow. I might be wrong. If I'm wrong, let me know. And if this version isn't working for you, find one that will. Let go of your feet, let go of your shins, let go of whatever you got, and make your way back to the floor. Maybe find a gentle sway, a gentle rock with the hips and the legs side to side. Round 2. Press your feet down and lift your hips up. Option to stay here, but if you would love to take a wheel pose today, reach the arms up and overhead. So the biceps are once again by the ears. Frame your hands wide to frame your face, and on an inhale, come up onto the crown of the head first. Wheel pose is the out breath. Straighten out your arms, press your feet down, and reach your chest towards the back of your room. Try to get about 5 to 8 really good rounds of breath here. If you're in wheel, allow your head and neck to be heavy. After about 8 rounds of breath, make your way back to the floor. Lower the upper back, the middle back, the lower back, hips, and eventually your tail. Maybe reintroduce that rocking sensation with your legs, your hips, and your lower back. Just to reset before we take on this last back bend, this last bridge or wheel. And folks, if you want to take a supported back bend, you could do that as well. Lift your hips up and off the floor. Reach your arms overhead, biceps by your ears. Frame your face. Come up onto the crown of the head. Inhale. Wheel pose is your exhale. Straighten out your legs and lift your hips up. If you want a little bit more here, lift your heels off the mat. If you're doing that with your heels lifted, lift your butt up higher, and then keep the position of your butt. And without changing a thing, lower your heels back to the floor. After about 5 to 8 rounds of breath, make your way back to the ground. And find constructive rest. Feet together. No, I'm sorry. Feet wide, knees together. Feet wide, knees together. So this is the first shape we did in class today. And one of my favorite things about yoga is how much replay value these poses have. So I'm assuming that this one feels a lot different than the first one we did in class. And all I want you to do is take that inventory while we're here. Maybe you notice some shifts. Maybe you notice just like the general buzzing that happens when you do yoga. Come on in. Hug your knees into the belly. Using as little effort as possible, please come up into a comfortable seat facing the front. So we'll do just a couple seated poses before we rest on our backs. Let's do this. Straighten the legs out in front of you. And step the right foot outside of the left thigh. If you can keep the right hip on the floor, bend into the bottom left knee, setting up for our seated twist. Place the right hand behind you, lift the left arm above you, inhales, lengthen. Hook the elbow and twist on your exhale. So something I actually want you to pay close attention to is how close the right hand is to the body. When you bring the right hand away from the body, that's when you start to round in the lower back. So if you keep the hand pretty close, it's more accessible to lift and lengthen. Option to stay here, but if you would like to take a bind, weave the left arm underneath the front right thigh and hold hands with yourself at your inner left hip bone. Maybe look over the right shoulder if that is okay on your neck. And then I'll ask that you press the right foot down, almost like you were going to stand up on it. Full breath in. And as you exhale, come back through center. And start to set up for a Gomukasana with the right knee over the left. I'm going to turn and face you once again. You guys stay exactly where you are. So right knee over the left knee. If you need a modification, you could keep the bottom leg straight, but I'm not like a big fan of that modification just because I feel like it gets more into your lower IT band, and I want you to get into your upper hip. So Gomukasana, first option. Second option for modification, just do double pigeon instead. And if you don't want to do either of those hip openers, find one that you do want to do and walk your hands forward and fold. We'll just be here for about a minute, about 10 rounds of breath. Excuse me. So frankly, I think Garudasana, like the hip opener we're doing now, is probably one of the more challenging hip openers. So if you feel like you're struggling, I would highly recommend modifying. You know, something to keep in mind is what is offered in class, especially like virtual classes, is not always what you're going to need that day, or it's not always what you're going to take. You know, part of what I want you to experience and take away from practice is being able to, you know, on the one hand, like sit uncomfortably, like, you know, not every pose is going to like feel great, but be able to get something out of the pose at the same time. So if you feel like you're like barely holding on, barely breathing, like switch it up a little bit. It's not a big deal. Doesn't mean you're bad at yoga. Frankly, you can't be bad at yoga. That's not a real thing. Inhales, lengthen. And as you exhale, come up to your seat. Straighten the legs in front of you and shake them out just a little bit on the floor. Stop that. Sorry, my cat's going buck wild today. Step your left foot outside of your right thigh. Bend into the bottom right knee. If and only if you can keep the left hip on the floor. Place your left hand behind you. Reach the right arm above you. Let's take an inhale. Hook your right elbow and find your twist on your exhale. So the gaze goes over your left shoulder. Reach the tips of the ears up into the ceiling. And if you would like to find, if this was good for you before, the right arm weaves up and underneath the front right thigh, and the left hand finds the inner right hip. So holding hands with yourself or maybe your clothing. Trying to get him out, but I think I'm just making it worse. Take a few more breaths here. I apologize, folks. Working from home, am I right? One more full breath in. And as you exhale, come back through center and set up for Gomukasana, and your legs with the left knee on top of your right knee. Again, I'm just going to face you so you can see what I am doing. So the left knee's over the right knee. If you did anything different before, you do whatever you did differently. Eventually walk your hands forward and fold. Release. 1 minute, 10 rounds of breath. So same length, same strength with the inhales and the exhales. And stay with this. Yeah, I know the cool down is not as exciting as a lot of the meat and the potato stuff that we do in yoga. But I think this is just as important, if not more important, because this is where we really find the balance in the practice. We've warmed up, we've moved around, and now we need to cool it down and let it settle. Inhale is lengthen. Exhale, come up into your seat. Straighten the legs out in front of you. Maybe pat the thighs out onto the floor. Grab the fleshy parts of your butt so you can better root the sits bones down into your sticky mat. Inhale the arms up, lengthen. Hinge at your hips. Exhale, fold. Grab your feet either overhand on the toes, or if it's appropriate, grab one for the outsides of the feet and the heels. So overhand will be more hamstrings. Outsides of the feet and heels will be a little bit more lower back. If you can't grab your feet, bend your knees. Like we can all grab our feet. It just means we need to bend our knees. And like I was saying before, like if this is like not something you would consider your wheelhouse, you feel like you're kind of just like struggling and like almost fighting yourself, do less. Sometimes we need more, sometimes we need less. Inhale, flat back. And on your exhale, come up into your seat. And make your way onto your back for Shavasana. Of course, if there's anything I have not offered you yet here today that your practice isn't complete without, take these last few moments of class for yourself. So after almost like a full hour of just non-stop movement, we are finally coming to a full stop. Keeping the eyes closed, take one more deep belly breath, fill up. Exhale, open up the mouth and release. No more work. No more effort. Shavasana. prepare to leave Shavasana. Wiggle the fingers, the toes, the hands, the feet. Maybe find a little bit of movement in the neck, rolling the head side to side. Bend your knees, step your feet onto the floor. And then for a brief moment, please roll off to the right into a fetal position using your bicep as a pillow. Just take another moment or two here to feel the support of the floor underneath you. Keeping the eyes closed, using as little effort as possible. Please make your way up into a comfortable seat facing your monitors. To seal in your practice, please bring your hands to a prayer position at your heart. Guiding the thumb knuckles up and into your sternum. Please invite a full breath in. Open up the mouth, exhale, clear it away. Thumb knuckles to your forehead, your third eye center. Thank you for sharing your practices with me today. Go in peace. Namaste. Thank you, yogis. Hope you guys had fun today. That's it for me. But as always, don't forget to subscribe. If you guys have questions, if you have comments, if you have feedback or even concerns, let me know in the comment section below. And that's it. Hope you guys are doing all right. And I hope to see you soon. Thank you.